we're back at it again with the Can It Run Crysis saga. In my last two videos, I ran Crysis 1 and 2 on my super low-end laptop, but in this video, we're gonna see if it finally gives up on Crysis 3. As a quick reminder, my low-end laptop is a Lenovo IdeaPad 115 IBY. These are the specs of it, and yeah, I don't know why I'm putting myself through this crap, but let's find out if Crysis 3 can destroy my Lenovo IdeaPotato 100. Or better yet, let's see if it can even open the game. Guys? Apparently it can open Crysis 3. Given that Crysis 3 actually opens, I wanted to see if it can actually run the game. So I decided to use the very high... Actually no, I won't be using the very high settings because I want to minimize the radius of the explosion that might eventually follow. I'll be using the low settings instead, as well as the lowest resolution allowed by default, which is 1024 by 768 this time.
5 minutes later.
So it managed to load successfully, as you can see. The laptop hasn't exploded or caught on fire. In fact, the CPU temperature is not even 60 degrees, which is absolutely insane. And yeah, Crysis 3 is actually running here. Like absolute dog shit, but still, I can even get double-digit FPS sometimes. It's crazy. And what if I told you that you can even make it playable with a few steps? Follow me. Just like in Crysis 1 and 2, you can run the game at below the default resolution by modifying the config file. The config file for Crysis 3 is located in your username folder, saved games, Crysis 3. The config file is the game.cfg file, which you can open with Notepad. We're not gonna change any other values here because we won't see any change. This time, unlike in Crysis 1 and 2, where if you want to use a lower resolution than 640 by 480, you have to play in windowed mode, in Crysis 3, you can use lower resolutions than 640 by 480 in full screen mode without any issues, well, aside from the game looking like a Game Boy one. The lowest resolution that you should use if you don't want the text to become unreadable is 512 by 384, or you can go for 640 by 400 if you want to play in widescreen. I'm gonna go with 512 by 384, but that's not all, because there's also the Crysis 3 CVar Configurator, which is an official configuration tool created by the developers of the game themselves. Wow, it's rare to see something like this coming from game devs. Usually it's the community that makes tools like this one for games or other mods that fix the mess. Looking at you, Bethesda. First of all, I'm gonna extract the config tool to the folder where my Crysis 3 is installed, but you can extract it wherever you want, it doesn't matter. After opening the tool, you need to specify where Crysis 3 is installed. So I'm gonna press the choose directory button and I'm gonna choose my Crysis 3 game folder and hit OK. Now, follow carefully from here onwards. First, go to gameplay and set the HUD bobbing to 0.00. Then, go to graphics features and disable everything that's enabled. After that, go to graphics tweaking and make sure to set every single thing to as low as it can go. This process can be quite tedious, but you can use the scroll of your mouse. Finally, in miscellaneous, I guess you can also disable whatever that means but everything else is optional, so click on apply settings and you're done. If you're desperate, you can even lower the FOV, with the lowest one allowed being 25. Not sure why would you want to play like this though unless you hate yourself. Still, I'm gonna set the FOV to 50 just to get that extra 1 FPS. You can even disable the HUD by ticking the HUD hide option, which I also don't recommend. Anyway, after tinkering with the official config tool and lowering the resolution to 512 by 384, we went from struggling to get even 10 FPS to somehow running Crysis 3 at 20 to 30 FPS on a Celeron that's slower than a Core Duo from 2006 and super low-end Intel HD graphics that are worse than the GeForce Q10. I mean, it wasn't the most stable experience ever, but do you know, I could actually play some Crysis 3 on my super slow Lenovo laptop. Hell, in some instances I saw as much as 50 FPS. Like, could you even imagine that? 50 FPS in freaking Crysis 3 on an Atom-based Beige Rail Celeron that gets smashed by CPUs from 2006. But it wasn't always like that. You see, once I made it to the second chapter of the game and went out in the open, yeah, it went to crap once again. The little N2840 was really struggling to keep up with its own integrated graphics. In this sequence, for example, where you have to search for a weapon while trying not to be killed by that tower's guns, I got as low as 4 FPS, and I almost became motion sick trying to find that weapon, but I was still able to find the weapon eventually, which I didn't record, and to be honest, it wasn't always utter crap. Like in this area where you fight regular enemies once again after destroying the tower's super duper mega dangerous guns with that weapon you were supposed to find and use, but yeah, no problem, because after that you make it to another indoor area and you get good FPS once again. So can a Lenovo IdeaPad 115 IBY with a super low-end Celeron run Crysis 3? Well, yes. Is it playable though? Well, it depends on the area. Then again, were you guys expecting this laptop to even run Crysis 1 and 2, yet alone Crysis 3? No, right? Well then, I don't see what are the complaints here. This is perfect. You people should start appreciating what you have in life more. This means that we're finally done with the glorious Can It Run Crysis adventure. Yes, I know about the remasters, but I don't care about them. I really hope you guys had a lot of fun watching me go through this adventure. Go watch my videos on Crysis 1 and 2 if you still haven't watched them. You can also watch any of the videos from the 2 playlists on the screen. And well, I don't think there's anything else to say here, so I wish you all a pleasant day.